I hear doorbells ringing. Good morning, everybody. Bethany Madsen. I can see it on my. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Lord, Lisa.
Good morning.
Shonda, good morning.
Assalamu alaikum.
Good
morning.
How are you? Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
Okay, I need a bit. Hey, beautiful. Hey, beautiful. Hi, Mary. Good morning, Mary. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Gallery view. Good morning, Bethany. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm trying to start my video.
Oh, yes. Good morning, Alice. So you all, we are allowing people in. Hey, Alice, how are you this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, everybody, to Morning Coffee with the Foundation for Black Women's Wellness. My name is Lisa Payton Kerr, CEO and president and founder of the Foundation for Black Women's Wellness. We are so excited to have you all join us this morning for our second morning coffee. For those of you who may have been with us last week for our first call with Myra McNair, you know that this is a laid back place for us to come together as Black women to get refreshed, to get inspired, to get empowered on our journey as well, Black women. It's also May. Believe it or not, May is almost over, right? But it's been a very special time for us at the foundation. Not only is it Mental Health Awareness Month, it's National Women's Health Month, it's also the founding month of Black Women's Wellness Day. For any of you who have attended Black Women's Wellness Day in the past, you know how powerful of an event that is, and it's really the origin story for how the work of the Foundation for Black Women's Wellness came about. And when we talked as a team about our theme for this week's call, my mind went back to that, that beginning of Black Women's Wellness Day, as we talked about the topic of moving from surviving to thriving as well, Black women, and what the energy, the dream, and the vision behind creating this work was all about. And it took me back to a very special person that I met in those early days when I was living in Maryland and launching this work. And we have her as the special guest today, Candice Camille, the Wellologist. Candice, wave for everybody to see you. Yes, and so, do I say Ramunda Ings on this?
Yes, love.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Hello, Ramunda.
Hello, sis.
Ramunda was also the very first Black Women's Wellness Day in Bowie, Maryland, and she is tuning in from Maryland today. And we'll talk with you later, Ramunda, about some of your work. And I still see people joining. Let me acknowledge members of our team who are on the call this morning. Wave your hand, staff and leadership team of the Foundation for Black Women's Wellness. We're all so inspired that you're here, and we hope that you have your morning coffee with you. How many people actually show up with their morning coffee? What's in your cup this morning? Tell us in the chat.
I don't do coffee, but I do have my Pellegrino, right?
We were laughing with Candice at the start of the call about her water, her beautiful glass, and that, of course, if you're going to drink water in the morning, it needs to be pretty. So here we go.
Yeah. Anytime, not just in the morning.
All day, and I'm sure you'll talk to us later about water consumption, perhaps. Again, today we're joined by Candice Camille, the Wellologist, author of Sexy, Fit, and Well, which you can purchase on Amazon.com. Before we hear from Candice, we want to remind you to stay muted during the call and to share your questions and your comments in the chat box. It is live and it's hot, and we love hearing from you. On our call last week, we got so many questions, comments from you, and that just excites us, and we will have a lot to ask Candice over the course of this call. One of the things we also do as we get started, and I love this idea that you brought forth, Aaliyah, our Chief Programs Officer, is highlighting a local small business in our community who we encourage you to support. So today, many of us are wearing earrings that we purchased from Madre Yerba. Wave your hand or tell us in the chat if you know Madre Yerba, if you've interacted with her at any of our events, if you've got her cool earrings, if you've got any of her body butter. Probably can't see it on my background. We've got products here, and we encourage you to go out and shop, particularly now, and support our local small businesses. But on to our topic for today, from surviving to thriving as well, Black women. Candice Camille, when I thought about what it means to be a well Black woman, and I remember us meeting some years ago and me learning about your work. Let me share a little bit about you. Candice is a wellness and lifestyle coach, trainer, international speaker, and author of Sexy, Fit, and Well. She spends her days working one-on-one with individual clients. She's based in Maryland right now. What city are you in now, Candice? I know you've moved a couple of times.
Yeah, actually, I'm in the Bowie area in Maryland now.
Yes, so Candice is halfway across the country in her place where she sees clients, women like us, every day, working with them to really define their wellness journey from start to finish. And it's a continuous journey, we know. Her strategic approach to wellness is to help her clients create synchronicity in every area of their life to achieve their ultimate state of wellness. Candice is also a licensed respiratory therapist and pulmonary functions technologist. So she has a medical background that she also brings into all of her work around actually teaching women the fundamentals of how you transform mind, body, spirit, food, fitness, all of those areas. And Candice, when I think about transformation, which is something that all of us have been thinking more deeply about, especially during this time and this moment in our history where we're faced with this incredible shift, unprecedented challenge, has a way of pulling you down to asking yourself what's most essential, what's most important in our lives. And day to day, we're working with women who are in our circle, who seek support from our organization. And the one common denominator amongst all of them is really searching and finding their way to this path of transformation in their life. So you work every day on helping women transform their bodies and transform how they eat, transforming how they think, which really gets down to the root cause. So tell us, how did you get started on this journey? What pushed you to become the wellologist?
We'll just sum all of that up. Everything you said, I can sum it up. So what I do really is to teach women to be sexy, fit, and well through mindset, meals, and movement with results that you can see in your body and feel in your soul, because that's what it's all about. That transformation is not a one and done. It's a series of changes that you have to go through. And you decide, once you make the decision, you decide how you're going to get there. So just a little bit about me, again, I'm a mom, a grandmother. I have 2 children, 5 grandchildren. My youngest baby is 42. My oldest is 45. But that chick, I had her when I was 2, so it's okay. That's my disclaimer as I go through this. But I was not always sexy, fit, and well. I come from a place where today I'm a cancer conqueror of just about almost 30 years. So it's been a 30-year journey. So I made a decision to kick cancer in the butt, because back then I wasn't living a healthy life. I was on a run, busy and doing everything, but really, really making sure that I was taking care of myself, as most people do. Especially women, we're on the run taking care of other people. But when cancer caught up with me, it was based on, I wasn't a smoker, I had tracheal cancer. So it's like, how did you get that? But a lot of times our stressors in our life manifest in different ways as it come up. So when you talk about my whole life, how I've come from horrific to terrific, I was an abused child. I was once homeless. I dealt with domestic violence. And after dealing with all of that, I got myself in a really good place where I thought now life would be good. I married an absolutely amazing man that took me off the street from rags to riches. And I thought life was good, and here comes cancer. So it's like those setups, those setbacks pretty much set me up for the biggest comeback of my life, and that was cancer, because they told me I was going to die. And I have made the decision to die. See, when you make a decision to do something, you cut off all other things. I just made a decision to die because you hear cancer. I didn't want to be a burden to anybody. So I was like, let me just check out of here, God. I just want you to take care of my husband, and I just want you to take care of my children. And I just says, I can't live like this. The pain is too hard. I just want to go. I don't want my kids to see me like this. But you know, as women, we have the right to change our mind. And that's exactly what I did. I changed my mind. So, because once you change your mind, when you change your perception, you see things differently. So you go from your perception being better to your perspective being better. So you start seeing things a little differently. See, I stopped thinking about what was bad and start thinking about what was good. You know, I got 2 absolutely amazing kids that need me, a husband that loves me. I now want to live. So that's the mindset I went in. See, when you decide you're over here, let's say I want to die, that's exactly where you're going to go. But when you decide to make a shift, see, you got to shift things, and you got to figure out what's your analogy, what's going to pull you over here. And in that moment, my analogy was who? It was my children. It was my husband, because I love the absolute ground that they walk on. And I wanted to be better for them. I wanted them to see that I wanted to fight. You know, sometimes you do it first for other people, then you do it for yourself. So that was my decision when I decided I want to live. So I had to figure out how I was going to beat this thing, because chemo wasn't working, medication wasn't working. They just said, you know what, if we don't do the surgery, 9 times out of 10, you have only a 40% chance of living. So what you going to do? I'm a talker. I was like, you can't take my throat box out. This ain't going to work. So no, I'm not doing that. So what I did was I sought out alternative medicine. I sought out people that can help me. At the time, my husband called them my witch doctors, because I got me an herbalist, a massage therapist, an acupuncturist. I read everything there was known to man about healing the body naturally. And here's what I came up with. There's 3 books that I still hold on to this day. And that's the Bible, of course, because all of our directions is in there. It tells us what we need to do to plan for it. That's what works in. That's where I get my plan for. That's how I learn my alignment. The second book was Back to Eden. Everybody needs to have a copy. It pretty much teaches us how to eat from the earth, what the body needs, all the minerals, 104 minerals that we need and where we can get them from. From A to Z, where you can get them from. And the third book is Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I still read those 3 books to this day, right? Because that sets the mind. Because here's the deal, you can't get your body tight until you get your mind right. So if you want a tight body, you need a right mind. And that's what you have to work on. And that's what I learned to do through that. So yeah, I was debilitated, so I couldn't move, but I knew there were 2 things that you need that can really strengthen your body. Actually, there's 3 things that I want you to hold on to that can actually strengthen your body, because the body, you give your body this, it pretty much heals itself. So the first thing, of course, is sleep, right? We need sleep, Lisa, and we need like 7-9 hours of sleep. Right? And the second thing is that we need really good, colorful foods, right? The third thing is that we have to move. The body is designed to move. Like, you gotta move. My clients ask me, as I work with them every day, my clients say, well, how often do I have to do this? That's one of the biggest questions. And my answer is, how often do you eat? That's my answer.
Yes.
So
Candice, I'm going to interject. As you all may notice, Candice is a phenomenal speaker. She's an international speaker. She's a keynote speaker, and she could do this call without us. Candice, we have questions for you.
Okay.
First, I want to know, folks want to know, can you repeat the names of the books? We heard the Bible, we heard Back to Eden, and the third title was of the three,
Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich. So you've talked a lot about mindset shift, and you also talked about dropping old baggage. So we want women to answer our question in the chat. What old baggage have you left behind? What old mindset beliefs have you dropped behind in your wellness journey? Let us know. Candice, Corinda wants you to know she's so glad that God had a different plan after your cancer diagnosis. LaShonda says, wow, to your story thus far. And there's so many pieces and parts to your story. What old baggage, folks, have you left behind on the call? So Candice, when your clients come to you, and we ask this question because so often as we work with women or even in our own personal life, as we're trying to make shifts, when we come to that place where we know we need a change, when there's this wrestling within your heart, your soul, and your spirit, where you know that how you're living right now isn't serving your highest good, but you're not quite sure how to take that first step. What do you do with your clients to walk them through the process of shifting their mindset to seeing the possibility for change in their life?
First, I ask them, what do they want? Because we act on what we want. Like, what do you want? Because when you know what you want, you pretty much create the plan to go get it. A lot of times we don't know what we want. So we're settling for what we find because we keep bouncing back and forth. So the one thing that I let go of, and I say this with all, and you really have to stand in this, is that you deserve it. You know, that's the first thing. You deserve it, self-deserving. I deserve to be well. And once you really believe that, so again, as I'm working with my clients in their mind, do you deserve that? You really to be, deserve to be well, and do you believe that it's possible?
How many people believe that a monumental shift in your life from where you are now to where you'd like to be on your wellness journey is possible? How many folks believe that? Put it in the chat. Wave. Yes, we can see you wave. How many folks have already started on this journey? How many folks have made a major transition as of late on your wellness path? Yes. I hear, Aaliyah, what are we hearing in the chat? What are we hearing from the chat?
We're hearing some responses to the baggage that we've left behind. So LaShonda talks about dropping blame. Alice talks about stopping being a people pleaser, which I'm with her on that. We're asking folks, do you believe that question that you just framed to them? Folks say they're working on it, right? And they have no choice but to believe it. And I think that's the true framing, is we have no choice but to believe it.
You have no choice.
But you do have a choice, and that's the thing. A lot of times we think we don't have choices. You do have to have a choice, but you have to make a definitive choice. See, most of us are sitting on the fence. You got to get off the fence, and you got to decide, I'm going to do it over here, and that's it. And don't let anything stop you. Not your negative committee in your head, not the negative naysayers on the outside, because most of the time, it's you that's stopping you. See, a lot of times we take our responsibilities and we make excuses that we don't have time to do it. But you got to stop making excuses and you got to start making adjustments. And I want you to hear that. Stop making excuses and start making adjustments so you can stay in it. Because it's not about starting, it's about staying. What's going to keep you there?
Oh, that's so powerful. When you spoke at Black Women's Wellness Day, here in Madison, I think it was 2016, you asked a question on stage to women that so many have talked about since 2016. So 4 years, they're still talking about the question, and it was, what are you pretending not to know that you already know? Can you break that down for us? What are you pretending not to know that you already know? That becomes change, right?
First, I want everybody to
tell us.
everybody take a really deep breath. and breathe, like inhale, so the trainer in me comes out and exhale. Because a lot of times we want to hear this, and this may sting you a little bit. See, because we know what we have to do. We know what we have to do. We really do. So we pretend that we gonna get to it. We keep saying, I'm gonna do it. My kids used to say when they were little, Mommy, I'm finna do it. I'm like, what the heck is finna do it? You're gonna do it or you're not? One or the other. See, there's no cut in between. So you gotta stop pretending and you gotta get it done. You gotta stop making excuses, because that's what it is you're making an excuse to make yourself feel better. That's all it is. You're making an excuse to make yourself feel better. But do you really, the other question to that is what you're pretending like to know, do you feel better? And then asking yourself, what do you really want to feel? Like, do you want to feel like you got more confidence? Do you want more energy? Do you want to get off the medication? Do you want not to be diabetic or have, heart disease, or cancer? Like, what is it that you don't want so you can start working in to what you do want? See, we crap on what we don't want. We go all the way to the negative. We go to the left all day long, right? How about getting over here to the right and find some good? What's good about you having more confidence? What's good about you having more energy? What's good about you getting off this medication that we don't do? And why are you okay with taking 2 pills instead of taking 2 stairs? I want to know, why is that okay?
Oh, Candice, you are burning it up. So ladies, we want to hear from you in the chat. Aaliyah plopped in, what do you want to feel? What do you want to feel? One word. How do you want to feel? What do you want to feel? What does it look like? What does it look like, that place that you're striving for? Candice, you shared with us your story also, and you told me this when we first met back in, 2011?
Yes.
When you spoke at one of the very early Black Women's Wellness Days in Maryland, maybe 3 years in. You talked about, you look like a very different person in the past. I saw a picture of you and I was shocked, because the Candice that I see today, who is sexy, fit, and well, just like the book you wrote, once upon a time, you were a very different woman. Tell us about that, Candice, and how you walked through this process. You talked to us a little bit about it before, but give us a little bit more about what that transformation took for you and how you confronted many of these tough questions.
Well, first of all, I was 215 pounds. I was a voluptuous 18. A voluptuous 18, 20. I was 215 pounds at the time. But again, I was sick. One of those things that led up to the diseases that I dealt with. I wasn't feeling well. My self-esteem was low. My energy was low. I did not accept myself the way they were. You just pretty much give up all hope. That's where I was in that path of those 215. But you pretty much psych yourself out to think that you're okay. But I was obese. As a matter of fact, if you're 30 pounds or overweight, you are considered in today's society, and especially for insurance purposes, to be morbid obese. So I was paying more money in insurance. I could not walk across the street. So I really was just tired. All I wanted to do was go to sleep. That was it. This was the best for me. I didn't think I can get better. I had a husband. He loved me. It didn't make any sense to do anything differently, yada, yada, yada. All the things that we tell ourselves. These are the stories that we tell ourselves so we can feel okay. But I really wasn't feeling okay, and I knew I needed to do something different. And as a teenager, I ran track. I was a little athlete back then, but a lot of times life comes in and interrupts. I call it an interruption. Life comes in and interrupts, and you just go on and you don't think about it, number one. And when I did the research on why I was the way that I was that, because, I want to blame somebody. Why I'm the way that I am. I needed to blame somebody that I ate Haagen-Dazs and Dunkin' Donuts on my way, or I had an absolutely love affair with McDonald's French fries. Drive-through was the best thing since sliced bread. That I'd get up 3 o'clock in the morning because I needed a hug. So I would drive to McDonald's and get my French fries because that was my comfort food, right? That was that emotional eating that made me feel good. But actually, I learned that it wasn't making me feel good. I just got worse. And I needed to learn what information I needed to give my body. See, we think food is fuel, or it sedates us, but what food is information and communication. Like, how are you communicating and giving your body the information as to what you want? If you want to be well, you got to give yourself the foods that's going to make you feel well. So that's how you communicate to your body when you want to get to your goal. If you're trying to get to lose some weight, release some weight, and I say release weight because losing weight is like losing your keys. Eventually you're going to find it back. But when you release stuff, it stays away. So when I wanted to release the weight, I needed to give my body the right foods that I needed to take me to my goal. So as you're working in your wellness, you have to ask yourself, is this thing right here on the left side going to get me to the right side? If it's not going to get you on the right side, you're communicating wrong, giving your body the wrong information. You want to take that off your plate. You want to take it off your plate. So knowing when you start digging for your goals and you're being well, you got to take that off your plate. And that's what I did. I started taking things off my plate. I would ask myself this question today, is when I'm working, is this going to be good for me? Is it going to keep me in my goal? See, my goal is to always be sexy, fit, and well. So as I'm moving through my day, I say, is this going to keep me in my sexy, fit, and well? And I do it 80-20% of the time. Y'all know y'all looking. Do you even eat chocolate cake? If I want to, I do on occasion, right? On occasion, right? It's my treat to me. So that's what I do. So it's about the food. It's about the water. It's about sleeping, right? It's about your spirit. It's about your meditation. It's about air and sunshine, right? Those are all the things that you have to do daily in order to be well. And that's what I started doing. So every day, consistency is what you need.
This is wonderful. Aaliyah, tell us what we're hearing in the chat to our question of what do you want? What do you want? I see so many. Awesome.
Yes, some are being sent private, some are being sent to everybody, but folks want to feel cute and fit and control and empowered and feeling empowered to empower others. I'm loving it. Michelle from Facebook says, I have to keep reminding myself how much I really like feeling strong and healthy, like reminding what it feels like to walk in that strength. Folks talking about some of the things that trip them off on their wellness eating, like pig feet. So we just
But you know what, you can't be mad at the pig feet though, right? You know, one of the things, you can't be mad at the pig feet. So here's my take on the things we're eating, we're not. And I couldn't leave here without saying this because it's just one of my signature words as we use it. When you're gonna go off the rails, and pig feet is off the rails, it's just not good for you. The only thing it may do is put a smile on your face and that's it, right? So, but if you're gonna go off the rails that hard, right, you gotta ask yourself, and this is where you ask yourself the question about getting to your goal. Is this pig feet, is this chocolate cake orgasmic? Right, yep, I said orgasmic. Ooh. Is it going to make your head go back and curl your toes and give you that hug that you want? If that what you're putting in your mouth is not going to give you that elated feeling, because we're talking about a feeling. If it's not going to give you your elated feeling, you're going to let it go. You're going to let it go. It ain't no different than you having an affair with somebody and it wasn't good. You're going to let it go. You ain't going back there. You're going to leave it alone. See, you got to let it go if it's not good for you. So when you talk about your mindset, your meals, and your movement, if it ain't good for you, let it go. And that's what we have a problem with, letting it go. We keep want to walk into 2021 with all this crap I got back here from 1976. What are you carrying it for? You gotta let it go. You gotta release the old you if you want to get to the new you. That's how that works.
Ooh, wow.
We have a question for Candice. How do you start making those healthy choices?
Mhm.
By making a decision you want to be healthy. That's number one. That I want to be healthy. And then you change one thing at a time. See, we're trying to change too much too fast. You know, we ain't worked out in 50 years and we think we're going to work out every day for 2 hours. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to set yourself up for failure. One thing in your mindset, one thing in your meals, one thing in your movement. One. You can always do one more. You know, it's one more. And that's what I even say in Plank Talk Nation, you know, as I'm planking every single day, 1 minute, one more. You can do one more second. You can do one more. You got to figure out what's your one. So in your meals, you know, and I use this, if you eat bacon, let's just say you eat 5 slices of bacon every day. So we're so quick to take away the bacon that your body was like, oh, no, ma'am. We've been eating bacon for 40 years. How you think you just gonna take it away and it's gonna be okay? You can't do that to yourself, because later on you're gonna go get the bacon and you're gonna eat it raw because your body gonna be like, just give it to me. What you wanna do is you wanna go from the bad bacon that you're eating and you wanna find you some really good bacon. So you wanna find, if there's such a thing, and I'm using bacon because I loved bacon. So I went from eating 9 slices of bacon every day to eating 9 slices of turkey bacon, right? So when I started changing my movement, see, now this is how you go down. So when I started changing my movement and I started moving every day, I realized I couldn't eat 9 slices of turkey bacon. My stomach was shrinking because I was moving, right? So now I went down to 5 slices. Like today, I don't eat bacon at all. But there's that process that you have to go through. You just can't do it and say, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to be sexy, fit, well a day, and that's going to be it. And next week, you're going to be off your mark. So you got to go slow. So the one thing I always say when you say, how do you make these choices in your food and your meals and your mindset, and you choose your one? So everybody that's under the sound of my voice, choose your one that you're going to change in your body. Own it, be accountable for it. Put it in the feed. What's your one? What's your one thing you need to change in your food? And just be specific. Don't be like, I'm going to give up sweets. No, what sweet are you giving up, right? Be very specific, because this way you can hold yourself accountable to that one, right? When you talk about your mindset, right? Because a lot of times we always say we don't have time to work up. Child, COVID-19 has given us all the time in the world, so you got time there, right? So you got time to do it. See, you can't manage your time, but you could manage your commitment. Commit to, like, if you working out for 5 minutes a day, take it to 10 minutes, right? Take it to 10 minutes, right? Go slow. Your body will love you as you go slow, but you at least want to work yourself up to 20 minutes, because that's where change takes place. So now you know what you got to work yourself up to. So 20 minutes a day, do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there, till you get to your 20 to the course of your day, right? And then you can increase as you go along with that. With your food, same thing, right? One thing, I'm going to eat me some kale today, and I'm going to eat it 3 times this week. Stay with that, just the one thing. And then you start adding on as you go. If you only drink 8 ounces of water, don't go trying to drink a gallon of water. You're going to set your body a sail is what you're going to do. Go from 8 ounces, 12 ounces. There's no rush. You got your life. See, because we're not doing this for a thing. You know, we're not doing this for a thing. We're doing this for a feeling. And one of the things about my book, and I'm so excited about the feelings, is that I don't know if you got a chance to look in it, but the book is about feelings. It's about words. It's about, how do you get up every single day and be determined, right? How do you be determined, right? It's just a firm decision. You take this determined and you say, you know what? Every day in every way, I'm determined to succeed. That's your mindset. Choose your feeling. If you work up every day and you want to be determined, own the determination. And what are you going to do every single day in your mind, right? Affirmation every day in every way. I'm just determined to succeed in my body. I'm determined to succeed in my relationships. I'm determined to succeed in my business so I can build my bank. You get to decide every single day that one thing that you're going to do. And over here, because I'm the baddest high performance wellness trainer there is, I know in order to change the way you feel, you can only change your physical position of your physical body. So I done gave you all kind of exercises you need to do over here to get to determine. And that's what this is all about. It's about a feeling. It's about how do I change the way that I feel so I can feel better? Because that's what it is. And you do one thing. One thing.
I ask you about your book later. I want you to know your sound is going in and out a little bit at certain points. So if there's anything with your audio, but we can't hear you, raise your hand if you can hear Candice well. And we've had a lot of hands flying up, Candice, as you've been, on your spree of throwing out all these jewels and these gems. I want to just remind folks that you gave us, to me, what the Holy Trinity is, right? Of transformation, mindset, meals, movement. So if you all did not hear that, write that down. Mindset, meals, and movement. Earlier, we had some folks answer, what are they trying to give up, or how do they want to feel? Where are those answers, Aaliyah? Can you scroll back and tell us, how are people telling us?
Yeah, well, Candice challenged us, what is the one thing you're going to change? April says, I'm going to give up soda. I need more water. I appreciate your don't try to drink, 7 gallons of water. Patrina talks about juicing more. Monique Mills talked about reducing negative energy by drastically reducing time on social media. We said, except for morning coffee. She said, yes. So folks are just popping it in there. Let's see what else we have here. There's so much stuff going on and people are really just like saying, preach girl. I do see some hands up.
Yeah.
But when I'm messaging folks privately, asking them if they have a question, they're not responding. So if your hand is intentionally up, please let me know.
I also see our earlier question. April said, I want to feel energized. Aaliyah, I want to feel strong. Rachel wants to feel happy and healthy. Patrina, I want a peace of mind. Someone else says, I want to feel like I'm living and not just alive. Candice, can you speak to that? I relate to that. There have been times in my life where I felt like I was just living, just existing, just going through the motions, just putting on the appropriate public face, right? And holding back all of the inner turmoil. So I really appreciate that comment. How do we move from just feeling that we're living to being alive, on fire, vibrant, all those things?
I can sum it up, and I can really sum it up. It goes right back to you making the decision that you want to feel better. And again, and it's like, we say, yeah, I want to feel better. You say that, but do you really mean it? Because when you say you want to feel better, there's a plan that you have to cultivate in order to feel better. So if you're just saying, I'm just alive, I ain't living. But the question that begs the answer is, what are you doing so you can live? So there's a plan that you have to create. So it's like, what's your plan? So when everybody runs a different race, different pace, everybody is different, but you got to know what your plan is. So first of all, you figure out what your plan. You ask yourself, I want to live. So what does living look like? Like, what does that look like to you? That's number one, because it's almost as if you're going on a hunt, but you don't know what you're looking for. So when you want to live, what does living, and what does it feel like? Like, what does it feel like? What do you want? And once you determine that, Lisa, Aaliyah, when you determine that, then you go on to the plan. Like, what is it that you have to do when you're talking about cultivating your plan? Like, what does that look like? So in order to feel well, and we talked about it here, one of the things is how I got from horrific to terrific is I started praying every single day. That's part of my praying. I started checking in with a higher power because, God is my source. So I figure, who you plugging into? That's number one. So what are you listening to? Like, so you tap into your spirit. So number two, and somebody please write these down for me. Number two is you have to meditate. You got to be still. So, because this is where answers come from the universe. This is where answers come from God. Sitting down, you asking him as you're praying, and now you got to be still for a minute or two so you can get your answers. That's number two. So you're going to be still and pray. You're going to meditate. The third thing you're going to do is, most likely when we're feeling ilky, is because we're eating ilky or we're not eating at all. Because we go at trying to release weight by not eating. I don't feel like eating, but the body can't survive if you don't feed it. It doesn't do anything. You got no brain power, and that's why you always tired. So you gotta feed your body. Let me tell you something. In my world, protein is king. Protein is king. Protein will make you feel better. So you gotta eat nutritious food. You gotta get away from the processed foods. You gotta get away from the junk. So you gotta pray. You gotta meditate. You gotta eat better, right? The fourth thing you have to do is you gotta move. You gotta move. You can't go and say, I'm laying down and I don't feel better. You're right, you're laying down. The longer you lay down, the longer you stay down. So you gotta get up and you gotta move. So movement is key. Create your movement. What's fun for you? Like, what's good for you? What I do may not work for you. My 1 + 1 don't equal your 2. Everybody has their own score to add up. And that's what I want everybody to do, because we constantly compare ourselves. Find your thing. It's your thing, whatever that thing is. And if you can't do it by yourself, find somebody else to help you do it. The other thing, get outside. I see one of the participants, April, is outside. Sun. Our bodies don't cultivate vitamin D. You got to get outside. You got to get into an external force to get at. So 5 minutes a day will give that to you, 20 minutes tops when you're just doing it. But that pulls on your energy. It gives you your vitamin D. And if you can't get outside, everybody in here should be taking at least 1,000 milligrams of D3. 1,000 milligrams of D3. That's the bare minimum, because our vitamin Ds are low, And then you want to drink water. You want to work your way up. Work your way up. I'm going to say it again. Work your way up to drinking a bare minimum of 64 ounces of water a day, and then half your body weight. It's a process. Take your time with it, because all the fruits and vegetables and stuff we eat have water in it as well. So take your time with it. And the seventh thing is that you got to have some fun. Like, what makes you laugh? Especially now during this pandemic time, we get into our depression modes. We're not laughing. So you got to stay connected. Like right here, I love this because we are connected. We are connected. You got to find something that's going to make you have a belly bust and laugh every single day, right? How many of you on here could just laugh? Just laugh. Lisa, do me one favor. Can you just unmute everybody? Let them laugh for a second. I need to hear y'all laugh. Like, oh, let me hear you. Come on, just do it. It's not crazy. Come on. Scream, laugh. Come on, now.
But you gotta give something funny though. It gotta be funny if you want to
laugh. No, go ahead and
I'll tell you something funny. I'll tell you something funny.
All right, now, LaShonda, hold
All right. Okay.
You're not going to start it this morning.
And the last thing, Lisa, the last thing is you got to go to sleep. You got to go to sleep. It is imperative that you go to sleep, and you have to. And you have to prepare for sleep. And that's one of the things, is that we think we can get off all these computers and all the light. You have serotonin and melatonin in your body, and melatonin comes in about 10 o'clock. So if you're still working and all the lights is out, serotonin is like, go away, melatonin. All these lights on, you ain't supposed to be here. So you start fighting, and that's why you fight in your sleep and you wake up tired, because you haven't shut everything down. You haven't cut the computer off. You haven't shut the lights off. You haven't turned the TV off. So you have a lot of the blue light. The blue rays are really bad. It just has our brain all lit up. So melatonin is basically don't know what it's supposed to do. You're supposed to be at least down, and I'm going to say this, by 10 to 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. when all the good stuff happens in our bodies, where we shed all the old stuff of our day, and we get new cells, because the new cells is what's going to help us. Rejuvenation is what's going to help us feel better. So if you're not sleeping 4 hours a day, again, take your time with it. Go 5 hours, go 6 hours, and decide what you want to do. I sleep 8 hours a day. I'm in the bed by 9:30. I don't make excuses for it. I don't apologize for it. I'm done. I'm going to bed, because I get up and I literally start moving at 5 o'clock in the morning. My first client is at 6. I teach a class 6 a.m. every single morning, Monday through Friday. So I got to go to bed so I can be ready to do what I'm going to do the next day. So the question you ask yourself, are you ready for your next? And are you doing now so you can operate in your next?
Candice, I've decided, as you've been talking, that we need to have several more calls. We need to turn this into a series, because you're talking about mindset, you're talking about spirit, you're talking about food, we're talking about movement. Those to me are separate conversations that really we need to break it down, because I know women have questions around each one. And maybe there's folks who are struggling in a particular area where they're just not feeling like they're making headway or traction. I'm happy you spoke about sleep. I think I said on last week's call that insomnia was something that I was dealing with, and very publicly, because this is the stage of life that I'm at as a 48-year-old woman going through perimenopause. There's anxiety, there's oftentimes, can't sleep. There's vitamin deficiencies that I'm looking at now, energy, body's changing, hormones are changing, temperature is changing. And there's a lot of things to begin to think about differently. And it has brought me to ask the question of how do we put ourselves in a position to really build a wellness practice? What does it look like to set a wellness practice? You talked about a plan. Can you walk with us, for those of us who are really, really on the cusp of wanting to step over into a place where wellness, I think it was your quote, wellness is not something that we do, wellness is something that we become. How do we become the wellness that we seek?
Well, again, in those 8 things that I talked about, I literally wrote an ebook on it. That's a place to start. Every single day you take each and one of those, you put them up somewhere. They still on my refrigerator to this day. Did I check in with Dr. Spirit? I call them my doctors. Ask yourself, and you're talking about your plan. That's your plan. Did you check in for a minute with Dr. Spirit? Did you meditate for a minute? Did I move today? Did I eat something green today? Right? How many hours of sleep? How much water did I drink? One of the things I did with the water, I used to have 8 marbles, and I was home, and I literally had 8 marbles on my kitchen counter. And every time I drank a glass of water, I would put that marble, I would make it ring in the glass. And I had a glass where at the end of the day, if I didn't see all of 8 of my marbles in the glass, I knew I didn't drink enough water that day. So it's something like, what are you going to do to remind you, to hold you accountable for doing that? Did you move today? Did you get up and dance? Did you do something? Did you step outside, right? And did you sleep? So those are the things when you say, how do you start that ritual? Those are your rituals. See, we're looking for a diet. I need you to eat this, and that. No, it doesn't work like that. As Ramonda would always say, diet, D-I-E, is what happens if you keep doing that. You're killing off your organs slowly. You're killing off your organs slowly when you consistently go on these diets because you're just trying to lose weight. because we are stuck on those numbers. It's good to know the numbers, but you can't get stuck there. Know the feeling. Like, you have to know what is it you want to feel when you're talking about, you don't want to feel, Lisa, you don't want to feel anxious. You don't want to feel panicky. I don't want to feel tired. I don't want to feel low energy. So you know what you don't want to feel. So on that side, on your goal side, that's your goal. I want to feel energy. I want to feel happy. How do I attract those things that's going to bring me what I want to feel? And that's your plan. And you start a little bit at a time. You get up, you have a conversation with God. You go something like this. All right, Big Daddy, listen, I want to be sexy, fit, and well in Jesus' name, amen. Then I'm going to sit down, right? You ain't got a lot of time, right? So it's like, don't overthink it. Don't get crazy with it, because you talk to him the same way I'm talking to you, right? You sit down, and generally what I get back for him, he says to me, just follow the plan. Do you trust me? What's your plan? So my plan is, I know I got to eat better. I know I got to sleep better. I know I got to move. So that is your plan. That's your whole blueprint on how you want to get to the way you want to feel. So for everybody on here, Lisa, and I'm going to hold you accountable right now to a word. And I want everybody to put one word, that feeling that they want to feel, like one word. Don't try to explain it. In one word, what do you want to feel?
Oh,
Lisa.
yes, joy. We see joy. We see peace. We see peace, energy. Wow. Someone says, I want to walk upstairs without huffing and puffing. I feel that. What else? Oh, refreshed energy. Oh, my goodness. So Candice, tell us about your book. Is all of this information, all these tidbits, all of this knowledge in the pages of your book? What inspired you to write it, and what can people expect to learn and do with it if they had a copy?
You know what? The book was inspired by my clients, right? So I have clients that came in every day and just whine. We whiners. We whine, we don't want to do. And I say, okay, stop whining, take that energy and put it into what we got to do. So, so it's like, you telling me all this, give me 10 slides while you telling me that, right? But I needed to come up with, how do I change their mind? Because you got to feel good about working out. It's something that you got to want. So you got to find your want in it. So that's one of the things that it's about in here. It's helping you find what you want to feel. Each and every day, it's 40 days, 40 ways to rock to the rhythm of your thoughts, right? And that's what it is. And it's fitness on the go. And I title it that because we are in a microwave society and we want to hit it fast. We want it to be done. So I title it Fitness on the Go. And every day you get up, you choose a word, right? And you decide, this is what I want to feel. You write your affirmation. The affirmation is there. And it gets you going into it. So if you get up and say, I want to feel free, I want freedom, you have the freedom to choose, the freedom to change, and then you work out on your freedom. But the question you have to ask yourself, why freedom? Why you want to be free? And then you write those things down. So it is a fitness workbook. There's work that you have to do on your mind and work you have to do on your body, because that's how it comes together. So with my clients, that's what it was. I realized I just couldn't come in and bring them into my gym and say, you know what, give me 50 squats, give me 15 burpees, because as we get a certain age, women don't work like that. So I had to figure out, how do we work so I can help you get to where you want to be, whatever your goals was. So I need to work in your mind and your body at the same time. And that was what I discovered by working with so many women for so many years, that it was all about how they want to feel. So every day I chose a word as to, how do you want to feel? So that's what the book is about. I literally designed an online course with it, the same thing, that we get up every day and we work out to how we want to feel as you're motivated and inspired to get to that feeling. That's why when I said that word, just don't throw any word out there. Be very, very specific as to what it is you really want. Like when you sit down and you're here and you're resting inside of your soul. See, because this is soul work and this is own work. And it's OWN, own work. You really got to come up with that word, that feeling. Like, what's that elated feeling that you want that's going to make you get up and go? That's going to make you create an explosion that becomes an implosion, because all that work is done from the inside. Like, what does that look like for you?
Yes. So Candice, we have 4 minutes left on our call, and we want to hear from the women on the call. We usually reserve the last 4 to 5 minutes to take your questions. So we encourage you right now to ask your questions. What are we hearing from Judy, Aaliyah?
Judy says, can you please speak on finding peace in your own household? Peace starts within the home. She says she just spoke with a girlfriend about this. She was saddened by the actions of others or family when truly she had the power to say, leave. Other people can rob you of self-care. So can you talk about finding peace in your home?
You know, and it's hard because we lead by example, and you really have to do it unapologetically. You know, you really have to set the tone and let them know. You have to teach your family what's important. Like, you're not going to bother me between 5 and 5:30, and really mean that. So again, it's going to take some work, or you have to create that little space inside your home. For me, mine was the bathroom. I would go in the bathroom, lock the door, do 25 squats, do some leg lifts, do some push-ups, do some planks, and I come out. So you have to, like, you almost have to demand it. You know, when you're doing it, you have to demand your peace. So like your kids, if you consistently let them bother you, you have to stop it. You have to say no. It is a complete sentence. No. My kids know, like between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., they could not bother me, but I had to teach them that. So you have to start teaching others how you want to be treated, because it's the only way that you're going to get your peace. Demand it.
Yes. So Candice, you work with clients. We talked about that throughout the call. If there are women on this call who want to reach out to you, because I understand you're doing virtual courses, women can be anywhere and access what it is that you do. I know that several years ago when you came to Madison, women loved what you presented to them, and several flew out to Maryland to meet with you and to do an on-site retreat. But in our virtual world, if women want to reach out to you, how can they get to you for personal services?
You can actually inbox me. We're here on Facebook. Number one, I'm Candice Camille. You can always inbox me. You can also send a note to the Wellologist at gmail.com, and that's THEWELLOLOGIST. So you can at gmail.com, and you can ask me your questions. So the ways that you can work with me, you can work with me several ways. Number one, you can join Plank Talk Nation. That right there is just a nation. It's a free platform where we rise up for 1 minute every single day. I've been planking now just about every day for the last 4.5 years. So it's about maybe 1,690 days that I've been planking, probably minus about 20 when I fell out of a ceiling of 30 feet and when I had an asthma attack during that time. But that's the only time I haven't planked. So that's the first place you can go. The second place is that you can work with me in your meals. I have a group called Be Fit in 90 Meals Mastermind. It's about being fit through meals. That's it. So if you want to only talk about your food, I just go there and I only talk about food. So that's Be Fit in 90 Meals. Again, that's a Facebook group as well. That's a platform that you can be on. If you want to talk about, and these are all groups, so if you want to talk about group movement, every single day I am in 40 days, 40 ways. And it's a Sexy Fit and Well group on Facebook where we work out every day, and we do it to each word in the book. I come up with a word and we tear it apart based on your feeling, your mind, and your movement every single day. So that's another place that you can come into 40 Days and 40 Ways. And being a member of that group, if you can't get up at 6 a.m., one of the benefits of being a member is that you can go back and hit the replay at every single time. We just have fun, and we have fun, you know, being sexy, fit, and well. And if you want to get real personal where you need me in your face, I do one-on-one right now in Zoom. So I do that one-on-one where it's just me and you, where we work through a session for you the same way as I'm doing right now, but I'm just right in your face, making sure that your form is correct, making sure that you don't quit on yourself, and making sure that you don't make excuses, that I'm here to help you make adjustments so you can get to your goal, because it's all about getting to your goal. And the last thing that I have right now, because of COVID-19, is I'm a certified emotional mastery coach. So it's that place before we go see the psychiatrist and the psychologist. I have something called the Red Couch Chronicles, and where we go in and we just decipher and we bust all of your limiting beliefs, because that's where it's all started at. Why we are the way that we are. They're not your beliefs. They belong to somebody else. So we get rid of all of that so you can work through your goal. And that is the one-on-one, just straight up with me, helping you build your mental muscle. So that's how I work with women all day long.
Oh, that's so powerful. Women, by show of hands, who wants Candice to come back for another session, right? An hour is just not enough time to take away all the things that you've thrown out in this call. So I'm going to be reaching out to you, Candice, to do that quickly and to see if we can get on your calendar. Everyone, we have placed Candice's information in the chat. Thank you, Aaliyah. You can access her website. There's information about her book. We will follow up with you by email and make sure you have those resources and Candice's 8 tips. We encourage you to purchase Sexy, Fit, and Well. I'm sure it's going to be an Amazon bestseller if it's not already on the bestsellers list.
Yeah, we are working on it.
You know what? We will help you along. I'm going to commit on this call to making a large purchase for our organization for the ladies, perhaps who are on this call, and for giveaways for women in our programs. I want to thank everyone for being here today. We never like to hang up from this call. We talked last week about wanting to stay on and on and on and to talk more. Ramunda, my dear friend, wave your hand. We will have to have you on soon to talk about how we cleanse our bodies from the inside out. And I'll share more with you, Ramunda, in a future call, but it's awesome to see your face today. Before we go today, ladies, tell us one word in the chat box of what you will take away with you today, or how you're feeling as we bring this call to a close. What are you excited about in your transformation? What one step will you take today? Just throw it in there. Let us know. Let that serve as your inspiration as you continue on in what is a very beautiful day outside of my window. Let us know what you're thinking before we part. And Candice, as we wrap up, 30 seconds, what are your closing words to the women on this call?
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Just know it and act on it. It's just that simple, because I can be here all day and motivate you and inspire you, but it's not about inspiration. It's not about motivation. It's about application. So it's like, what are you going to take away? And Lisa, thanks for asking that question, because that's the question I ask before I leave any stage or any platform. I want you to write down, what is that thing you're going to change? Just that one thing, and hold yourself accountable for that change. Act on it. Run your race, your pace. So just remember, plan it out, hold yourself accountable, be committed to it, and execute that thing. That's what I want each and every one of you to do. That one thing, and don't stop until you get it done.
Yes, so we hear women leaving us saying they are inspired, inspired. Keep the Lord first. Someone says, I will do some purging and organizing to decrease some anxiety. Thanks again. I will get out and move. I will have a plan. Thank you. Rejuvenated. Wake up with a plan. So Candice, you have influenced, inspired, elevated women on our call.
Can I
today.
give you guys a gift? I just want to go because, you know, I talked about the 8 doctors and I literally want to give them the 8 doctors, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have an ebook on it and I just want to give you the 8 doctors. So, you know, again, I'm taking all excuses off the table right now. So we're taking them off. So I want to give it to each and everybody on here. So even if you go in my inbox, but I just need your email address and I will send it to each and every one of you, that ebook on me, my gift to you to help you as you work inside of your plan.
Awesome. We will follow up with you on that, Candice, to make sure everyone gets their copy. We thank you for being here with us today. Thank you, everyone. Before we go, remember, know thyself, love thyself, heal thyself. Wellness starts with you and you have the power. We will see you back here next Wednesday for our next morning coffee. We love you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Candice.
Thank you.